Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Farhanah binti Muhammad Buhari. So today I'm going to present my part. The first one is introduction. Okay, what is traversing? Traversing is a type of survey in which a number of connected survey lines from the framework and the directions and length of the survey line are measured with the help of an angle measuring instrument and tape or chain respectively. There are two types of traverse surveying, which is open traverse and closed traverse. Open traverse is when the line from a circuit ends elsewhere except starting point. It is said to be an open traverse. Open traverse is also called as unclosed traverse. It is suitable for surveying of road, coastal line, etc. The second type is closed traverse. Closed traverse is when the line from a circuit which ends at the starting point. It is known as closed traverse. It is suitable for the survey of boundaries of pond, sports ground, forest, etc. There are four different methods, and these methods are change traversing, compass traversing, tedaloid traversing, plane table traversing. So the first one is change traversing. So what is change traversing? Change traversing is done by taking linear measurement only. Hence, change or tape is enough for change traversing. The angle between the adjacent traverse line is measured using the change angle concept. The change angle is nothing but finding the angle between two adjacent sides by establishing the third side using tie station. This angle between the sides can also be fixed by establishing a chord of known length between the sides. In the case of compass traversing, both linear and angular measurement of traverse line are taken by using change and prismatic compass respectively. Both forward bearing and back bearing are measured, and required correction for local attraction are applied. If any closing error is obtained while plotting of traverse, then Bowditch rule is applied for the adjustment of error. In the case of tedaloid traversing, the linear measurements are done by using change or stadia method, or angular measurement are done by tedaloid. Using tedaloid, the magnetic bearing of the first traverse line is measured, and from the magnetic bearing of other side are calculated. This method is very accurate compared to other method. Lastly, for plane table traversing, the measuring and plotting of the traverse on the paper are done simultaneously. The plane table equipment is set up at every traverse station one by one in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. The sides of each traverse station are drawn on paper to a suitable scale. If there is any closing error, graphical methods are used for its adjustment. The first objective is to make a traverse survey, reduce the field data, and plot the result graphically. The second objective is to find the elevation of given point with respect to some assumed reference line called datum. The third objective is to establish point at required elevation respect to datum. Instrument. The first one is total station. Function of total station is an equipment used in surveying designed for measuring horizontal and vertical angle, inclusive of measuring sloping distance of object to the instrument. It is a combination of electronic tedaloid and electromagnetic distance measurement (EDM) instrument. It is also consists of a microprocessor with a memory unit which deal with recordings, reading, and the fundamental calculation of measurement. second one is tripod. Tripod provide a fixed and flat base for all types of surveying instrument and sighting equipment such as tidal light, total station, level or transit. The third one is prism. Prism reduces the scatter of the beam as it is reflected back to the total, which allow for both a more accurate measurement and a longer range that the measurement can be made. The fourth is picket. Picket used to mark out residential boundaries and indicate point and position of site. They are usually made of wood, although some are made of metal or plastic and come in different size and colored tops. Lastly, a hammer. Function of hammer to drive in the picket into the ground.
Methodology: data processing. First, coordinate calculation can be done after final bearing and final distance have been calculated. There are two input, which is final bearing and final distance. The output is coordinate of stations. It must be based on reverse adjustment booking form. For the coordinate calculation, based on coordinate given, arrange the final bearing and final distance. Second, calculate departure and latitude. And third, determine the following. The first is total distance, total NSENW. And next is latitude and departure misclosure. And the last one is find the linear misclosure and accuracy.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Hazir Aiman bin MD Khalili, and I'm going to talk about result and analysis. So, we are expected to carry out this fieldwork with 3 tripods and 4 pages. The tripod and the other 4 pages are for the instruments, and they mark the locations of our survey work for the center. We got horizontal reading right face to back station. The procedure has been replicated and all the readings have been detected and reported. So these are the bearings of face left and face right that has been reported. So we need to calculate the final bearing, also the final distance. So when we get the final distance and final bearing, we need to do the coordinate calculation that can be done after final bearing and final distance have been calculated by using the transverse adjustment booking form. So when we're doing the adjustment booking form, we need to arrange the final bearing and final distance based on the given coordinate. So secondly, we need to calculate the latitude and also departure. So the formula for the latitude and departure is latitude equals to distance cos bearing, and for departure is distance sin bearing. So for transverse adjustment to rule the boundage, the method of calculating is the average, definite bearing, definite distance, and total distance. Adjustment for all latitude north positive is negative, and adjustment for all latitude south negative is positive. This is because the number of latitude north is more than the south latitude. Adjustment for all departure east positive is negative, and adjustment for all departure west negative is positive. This is because the number of departure is more than the departure west. So when we get the total, we need to count the linear misclosure. So the formula for linear misclosure is total distance over square root of misclosure latitude power of 2 plus misclosure departure power of 2. So when we count it, we get the accuracy of 1 ratio of 37765. And to count the area, and then we need to calculate the area. So next is plotting. So this is the plotting that we have been determined on the map, which includes the 4 stations, station 1, station 2, station 3, and also station 4, with the scale of 1:400. So to determine the scale of a map, the formula is distance on the map over distance on the ground equals to 1 over x. So it has been determined that distance on the map is 19.4 cm, and for distance on the ground is 31.182 meter. So we need to change it cm to meter, become 0.194 meter, and get the answer of x is equals to 161. So the scale of the map is 1:161, and Bedham has told us to take the maximum number because the larger the number, the lower the size of its number in scale plotting. Our plotting scale ratio is 1:400 because it is the closest to our plotting detail. So to determine the point on the plotting paper, we need to count each station. So the formula for the determine point on the plotting paper is x over distance equals to 1/400, and we get the total of meter, so we need to change it by cm.
Conclusion. A traverse is a series of linked lines whose length and direction are to be determined, and to locate such measurements, the survey process is known as traversing. In general, chains are used to decide the length, and the compass of theodolite is used to determine the direction of the traverse lines. Two ways of a traverse may be present. In specific, the open and closed traverse. Traversing is done by 4 different approaches, and these approaches are rated according to the survey instrument used. The methods are as follows: chain traversing, compass traversing, theodolite traversing, plane table traversing. On the travel circle, the station is identified with a fitting dot. The bearing and distance observed are recorded in the traverse form, and calculation is necessary to obtain the accuracy of the survey. Measurement of the angle between 2 or more points using the full station or prismatic compass.